It is shocking. It's one of the most shocking things I found in the book. The palace tried to suppress all stories about Andrew and Jeffrey. Time and time again, she would give Andrew a new appointment when he was in the news on Epstein. She just had a complete blind spot. Tonight, we are looking at a story that refuses to die down. Each time the palace tries to move past Andrew Mountbatten Windsor's long shadow, something new drags it all back into the headlines. And this week, the release of previously unseen images from Jeffrey Epstein's private island has brought the former Duke of York straight back into the center of a global scandal. Tonight, we're getting an inside look at some of the rooms in Jeffrey Epstein's notorious home on a private Caribbean island, where underage girls and young women were trafficked and sexually abused. Democrats on the House Oversight Committee released these photos, as well as videos they say have not been made public before. These images were released by the United States House Oversight Committee, and the material includes rooms, corridors, storage spaces, and personal effects from the Caribbean hideout that Andrew admitted visiting in his 2019 Newsnight interview. The exact details of what happened with Andrew on the island remain disputed. Andrew has denied all wrongdoing, but the release of these images has reopened serious questions that the palace has never managed to silence. So in this video, we are going through what was released, what it means for Andrew's already crumbling standing inside the royal world, and how it connects to some of the more recent allegations about his behavior. A seriously shocking claim tied to Andrew's time on the island came from Virginia Giuffre's testimony, which was found inside court documents spanning several years. It was a wicked time in my life. It was a really scary time in my life. I had just been abused by a member of a royal family. I didn't know what could happen, and I couldn't comprehend how in the highest levels of the government and powerful people were allowing this to happen, not only allowing it to happen, but participating in it. She alleged that Andrew took part in what she described as a group encounter involving herself and 8 other young women. In her words, they were Russian girls brought in by Epstein. The accusation has been repeated in filings, depositions, and interviews going back more than a decade. Andrew has denied it every single time. The allegation first emerged when documents were unsealed during earlier civil cases involving Epstein. It appeared again when additional filings were released in 2019. It was referenced in US media, in British broadsheets, and repeated in investigative books. It became one of the central reasons Andrew agreed to do the Newsnight interview, which many now call the biggest PR disaster in modern royal history. In the interview, Emily Maitlis directly challenged him about whether he had ever been involved in group encounters of any kind. Andrew denied all allegations, but he offered explanations that many viewers found confusing. He insisted that he was never in the places Virginia claimed at the time she claimed. He also repeated his now infamous line that he was not one to hug, and had no recollection of ever meeting her. For many watching at home, the denials raised almost as many questions as they answered. One of Epstein's accusers, Virginia Roberts, has made allegations against you. She says she met you in 2001. She says she dined with you, danced with you at Tramp nightclub in London. She went on to have sex with you in a house in Belgravia belonging to Ghislaine Maxwell, your friend. Your response: I have no recollection of ever meeting this lady. None whatsoever. You don't remember meeting her? What makes the allegation resurface now in 2025 is the release of the new photographs. None of the images show people. None show wrongdoing. But they reactivate every story linked to that property, and the 9-girl affair allegation is one of the most dramatic ever attached to Andrew. To understand why it sticks so strongly, consider how unusual the claim was. This was not a suggestion of one inappropriate meeting. It was the suggestion of a large group gathering that allegedly happened in a private island environment, far away from scrutiny, involving young women brought in from overseas. So when you bring all of that together, you get the core problem. One of the most serious allegations ever made about Andrew took place in a location he confirmed he visited. He denied the allegation itself and continues to deny it, but the accusation lives on every time new evidence from the island is released. The first set of photographs showed rooms that looked abandoned, empty dental equipment, masks, linens piled up in corners, and a blackboard with chalk words still faintly visible, including references to power, deception, truth, and time. In the words of Robert Garcia, the photos are meant to give transparency and help piece together the full picture of Epstein's world. Then there was the image of a dried-out steam room with towels piled next to personal care items. Commentators pointed out that this appeared to be part of the accommodation area where guests, including Andrew, may have stayed. The exterior of the compound and around the pool area, but also inside the house there are images of what appear to be bedrooms, bathrooms, and living areas. And remember, this is the property visited by several very well-known people associated with Jeffrey Epstein, and also the property where many of his accusers say that they were forced to perform sexual acts for Jeffrey Epstein's friends and contacts. So, if there is to be any further legal action taken over this, these pictures will probably be an important bit of evidence. The timing of these images is so damaging for Andrew. Just as discussions were reportedly underway about his staffing demands for his new, smaller property on the Sandringham estate, this drops into the news cycle. Once again, he is linked not to public service but to scandal. Privately, some insiders have said that Andrew's actions caused deep hurt to the Queen during her later years. One former courtier was quoted last year saying his judgment was catastrophic, and this week's release has only reinforced that view. Andrew's refusal to cooperate with investigators adds yet another issue. His spokesperson did not provide a public explanation, but to many, it looks like he does not want to be questioned under oath. Whether that is fair or not, it is the perception that matters. And for the royal family, perception is everything. The release of these images will not be the last development. In fact, the United States Justice Department has less than 3 weeks to release federal files on Epstein, although they can withhold anything tied to active investigations or personal privacy. Even so, many observers believe more material related to Andrew could emerge, whether directly or indirectly. And that is the problem for him. He is not in control. He does not get to choose which documents are made public. He does not get to decide what witnesses say, and he certainly does not get to dictate how the press reports it. For the royal family, this means one thing. The Andrew chapter continues to cast a dark cloud. And even though the palace tries very hard to present a unified, forward-looking image, these reminders of the past keep pulling attention back to the one figure they wish would quietly disappear.